Will and Kimber here for Crossfire Co-op's Fuller House Review.
Well, we watched Fuller House on Netflix. Wasn't really sure what to expect, but we're glad to share this awesome review with you. Before we get into any spoilers, we don't want to spoil it for you, I will just say that I quite enjoyed it.
I would say that I think we were both looking forward to it, having grown up watching it. And for me, it had some highs, had some lows. Let's go ahead. Let's look at our score.
Okay.
And then we'll delve a little farther.
Sounds good. Ready?
Yep.
Cool.
7.0 for me.
8.0 Tanner/Fullers.
You always make your number filled with something, don't you?
Yes.
At least there's no halves of people's this time.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate.
That would be unfortunate. So, our average of 7.5. 8.0 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Before we go spoilers, why'd you give it an 8.0?
Well, it took a little while for me to get into it. Just to say, like, they definitely, like, played up on the nostalgia, but I was like, oh, I don't know if this show's gonna work out. Like, the first several episodes. It's like, oh, I'm not sure. And around, like, 6 through 8, I was like, yeah, okay, this is something that I could watch for, like, quite a while. It just took a little while to get warmed up to it. It felt like they had a lot of fan service early on, a little too much.
A little too much for sure.
The writers are definitely catering to the age group of people who watched it when the original Full House was on, which means that while they do try to like say things and do things that are hip and new, they also aren't afraid to be a little more adult in the jokes and the content and the situations that the characters get into.
It does seem a little older than the original show.
Yeah.
Like just content-wise. But part of that may also be where TV's at nowadays.
That's true.
A little edgier.
I think that the main people who do the acting, who I won't say because of spoilers in case it's not known yet, do a really good job.
I would say the first episode was the lowest point for me. I know what they were trying to do with it. It almost seems like it should have been a movie.
Yeah, I remember you saying that when we watched it, and I have to agree.
And then they just tried to cram everything into a small episode. But I think it builds from that point. I think the acting builds from that point. And by episode 3, episode 4, it really starts to pick up.
Yep, I agree.
Let's talk spoilers.
Alright, spoilers. You were
Spoiler
forewarned.
alert!
So, how about you? What's your favorite part so far?
For me, I went ahead and wrote down all the episodes.
Uh-huh.
I thought...
Your favorite were all the episodes?
No.
Okay.
No. I really liked episode 3 when Joey comes back in. Thought that one was good.
Is that Joey babysitting?
I was trying to look.
I feel like Joey babysitting is later.
Yeah, I was thinking that's later.
Well,
I'm not 100% sure. The wrestling episode was hilarious.
That was a really good one. Really good.
I thought the baseball episode was interesting, especially having been to the park.
Yeah. The baseball episode takes place at AT&T Park at a Giants game. And having like grown up in Indiana, I didn't really know much about West Coast baseball teams. We don't even have a major league team in Indiana. But we lived in Mountain View for a while, and we went to a Giants game thanks to our friend Lindsay and her husband Sean. Hey, Lindsay and Sean. Sean's also our friend. I didn't mean only Lindsay's our friend. Anyway, we went to a Giants game, and then I was able to just, like, it made so much more sense to me. It was so much more appealing to me. And I think the show does a good job overall of trying to, like, situate itself in San Francisco, makes references to San Francisco.
They do a great job of really making sure that you know where they're at. Like, some shows are set somewhere, and you might see a glimpse here or there, but it really feels like SF.
I think that was lacking in the original Full House, but maybe it's just because I was younger and I had no idea.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched them, so.
Mm-hmm. I enjoy that they made a joke about the value of the house.
Yes.
Because, the house that they show on the beginning is not possibly the house that they show in the set just because it's so large, but it's nice that they, pay tribute. And it made so much more sense to me why they all lived in the house.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no wonder they all live in the same house, because the rent's ridiculously expensive and I can't imagine what a mortgage would cost.
Mm-hmm. I thought episode 1 was the weakest.
Yeah.
Not only just content-wise, but also acting-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I had judged this off of just the first episode or the first couple,
mm-hmm.
my score would have been pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
I was not happy, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with each episode, the character development really grew, and I think the actors themselves actually grew into the role. The new kids.
To imagine everybody felt like they had some really big shoes to fill. I imagine the first episode everybody's either starting to work together again for the first time in a long time or working together for the first time.
Yep.
It's going to have some anxiety related issues probably. No one seemed nervous, just they didn't do as well as they do later on.
Mm-hmm. I wish Mary-Kate or Ashley would have made an appearance.
Yeah, they definitely do point out the absence in fun and interesting ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, especially as the show developed, the way they referenced the previous show also kind of matured a little bit.
Yeah.
The episode where the girls went out partying and then came home and called the younger sister, that was a nice throwback.
Yeah, that was nice. I also enjoy when Steve and the other gentleman in DJ's life are talking and you see a flashback of DJ and Steve at prom.
Even just the opening cutscene, where it's showing them as a child and them as an older child, and then them now is perfect.
It's perfect. It confused me at first, the first couple episodes, because you don't meet all of the characters in the first episode. And some of the characters are new and they're young, and you see like a baby, a toddler, a little kid, and you're like, who the heck is this? Like, was I supposed to have seen them before?
I mean, you see them in the first episode, but you're like, whoa, so many new characters.
I don't think we met Ramona in the first episode, did we?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. Well, there were so many characters all at once that, it's hard to keep track. And when you see the opening scenes, you haven't seen anyone yet. You're like, I know DJ, I know Stephanie. By the way, how funny is it that Stephanie is a DJ whose DJ name is DJ Tanner? It feels like the stereotypical, like, Stephanie's always trying to rain on DJ's parade kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it was awesome.
What did you think of the Kimmy romance arc?
Kimmy's always a little bit ridiculous. It made it seem out of character that she would have found this like attractive Latin guy who's successful.
He has his own quirks, though.
He has his own quirks, sure. Plenty of them. I think it's fun that he calls her Kimberlina because my friends used to call me that. She adds her own like weirdness to the show, and that weirdness from the original show definitely carried over into this one.
I think she's actually even stronger in this show than she was in the original show.
Well, she's way stronger, but they definitely reference the Kimmy of old where Mona comes in and she's looking to do something and she's like, just make yourself at home, we're Gibblers, it's what we do, like, just don't use our toothbrushes, we're not animals, like, I think that she is definitely a very strong character. She seemed really ditzy in the original one, and she's still not super showing off her intelligence, but she is a lot more mature.
She's a lot more likable.
Yeah.
For me, I never really liked the Kimmy character. Like, I knew her role in the show, but I never really associated with that character. But I think she's much more likable in this.
You get to know her a lot more. You get to feel for her circumstances. Like, I think that her parents really didn't have anything to do with her growing up, and that's why she was always at the Tanner house.
It seems that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she doesn't want that for her daughter.
Exactly.
I think they took the romance part of that too far, though.
Mm-hmm.
Just in general, like trying to weave it into every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they did that because, I can't remember his name right now, but her husband was a pretty strong character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he brought a lot of humor to the show.
Yeah, he brought a lot of humor to the show. A really interesting character.
So I hope, for season 2, which has already been announced,
yeah,
I hope they can find a better way to bring him into the show.
Mm-hmm.
Just more, I don't want to say a permanent role, because he was a permanent fixture,
Mm-hmm.
but more just part of the actual jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the clan, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a lot of tension with his character this season as the nature of the storyline, so perhaps there will be less, or perhaps it won't work out, depending on what happens. I hope it works out.
I hope it works out, but it could be really funny if it doesn't work out, but if he's living there as well.
Ooh. Not good. Not good at all.
We all knew how the romance of DJ's romance was going to end at the end of the season.
What do you mean we all knew? I thought she was going to pick somebody.
Oh, you did?
You do a mock bachelorette, basically.
Yeah, I figured they were going to drag that on.
Well, I mean, they're smart to drag it on, I suppose. Because people would be upset no matter what if she chose, but she's going to have to choose eventually.
She will.
Which team are you on?
Most definitely Dr. Harmon's team.
Dr. Harmon's team? With the old guy?
Oh yeah, the old guy. No, Matt Harmon.
Oh, okay.
The son. And you?
I don't know. I mean, Zoe clearly is meowing because she's on the vet's team, but...
Go Team Vet.
Go team. No, like, Steve is her young love, but he doesn't seem quite right anymore, but I don't know.
Guess we'll find out.
It's gonna be messy if she doesn't choose Dr. Harmon when she's a partner of the vet clinic.
Yeah. I was surprised that he agreed to be her partner without seeing where things ended up first.
Maybe he thought that would help tip her decision in the right direction.
Maybe. But never give away part of your businesses.
Hey!
So, I recommend watching. This is by far not my favorite Netflix show. For those, look, House of Cards, Daredevil,
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones, Marco Polo,
Indeed.
Sense8.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a good show, especially if you watched it in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good show, I think, to watch with family.
We pretty much binge watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't so slow to begin with that we were like, we can only take one episode at a time.
But make sure you get to episode 3 or 4 if you do decide to watch it.
Sure.
Because that'll give you a real feel for what the show's about.
That's why it got an 8. If you stick it through till the end,
For me,
it's worth it.
the weaknesses early on
Mm-hmm.
really weighed heavily on me
Mm-hmm.
because that's someone's initial impression.
Mm-hmm.
I think it picks up steam though. That's why I gave it a 7.0.
Mm-hmm.
And I look forward to season 2.
Sounds good.
For all Fuller House needs and everything gaming and entertainment, stick to crossfirecoop.com.
See you later.